This stream is sponsored by IGK TAS, telemetry analysis system powered by IGK. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to EML. We are here for, of course, EML Premier as we take in round 2 of the championship around the Spanish Grand Prix circuit of the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia. My name is James. I'm going to be taking you to the stream, as always, on a Wednesday night, once a month. And joining me in the commentary box, fresh from finishing 11th position and bottling out of EML League 2, it is Mr. Michael Edwards. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, but, I'm a little bit upset that I couldn't do more earlier.
I really hope you don't mind that introduction, by the way. But
I heard you was in the chat, and I was like, if I bottle, he's going to remind me of it.
Yeah, we just had to lay out the facts straight away, right at the start of the stream, just for any avoidance of doubt, because Mike probably would have finished at either P4 or P3 if he didn't pick up any of the penalties, of course. But we are here, as I say, for EML Premier. We are a little bit late in starting, so we've got about a 5-minute delay, which means we've got about 4 minutes to rattle you through, of course, what happened in terms of the podiums and in terms of the standings as well. And what happened, actually, in race 1 was Matthew took the win, Harry Banks was second, and Noah finished in third for the Bahrain Grand Prix, of course, last month. What did that do to the championship standings? Well, of course, the championship standings have changed. 2 new teams in FMSL and TRT, both on 0 points, and I'm just going to get the standings up now. TTG lead the way on 42 points, with VER in second on 23, Sync in third on 18 points, along with F1 FC in third as well on 18, IFR in fifth on 15, CGT in sixth on 14, FVR in 7th on 12, FRL in 11th on 8, in 8th on 11 points, I should say, and FMSL and TRT obviously scoring no points because they are brand new teams, and they're setting up their stature, really, within Premier here tonight in Spain. And Mike, obviously looking, TTG had only a 2-point advantage before all of these changes came about. Now they've got a 19-point advantage. Pretty good to say. TTG might look the strongest team once again tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. TTG done some good work in Bahrain last time out, and obviously with the changes, that it's helped them out massively. They don't need to score massively to keep the championship lead tonight, but they'll know they got a nice little cushion to help them if they can't keep up the pace here. Yeah,
to be honest, they just need to outscore really the closest team that's to them, and that's Sync and VER. So hopefully, out on track, TTG might just dominate, but all 10 teams, it is a wide open field, of course, and looking through the lineup that we've actually got tonight as well, the driver lineups are as follows. Take this with a pinch of salt, some of these might have changed, but for MSL, we've got Huaya Marve and Amento Loco, along with Frivolo being the reserve. We've got Tom Robbo, LRB as the main drivers for IFR, alongside Noah as the reserve, Hadler and Trinity for TTG, Modestroll and Marcus Thull for FVR, Javier, Janiek and Simblix being the reserve for SXT, Mika, Marlon and F1 Lover are for VER, Ron and Silu for FRL, with Ayub Khan, TRT Kyle and TRT Bunty being the 3 drivers for TRT, CGG represented by Belandia, Pingu and Charles, glad my mate Pingu was back again, and FFC represented by Borja, Ruben Teve and Noscar. I believe Noscar is filling in for Ruben Teve. Again, Mike, very strong lineup. Who's probably the team to beat tonight?
Well, to be honest, I'm excited to see how the CGT team bounce back after Bahrain, but you can't look past TTG at the moment. It's a very strong lineup from them once again.
Yeah, it is a very strong lineup, and to be honest, it's a strong lineup from everyone, to be honest, out on track. I mean, we've got the likes of FRL, who I know quite well. Modestroll and Marcus Thull are a very strong lineup for FVR as well. Of course, you can catch the PSGL and VRT Esports Cup event while I'm on this on Friday night. Modestroll, of course, being one of the team for FVR. TTG obviously represented by Hadler and Trinity. They're quite a strong team. IFR Jensen did very well in the PSGL event, and if it's anything to go by from Jensen's perspective, Tom Robbo and LRB are very quick drivers. I know Tom Robbo's been in LOE F1 this season as well as a reserve. Noah there also as a reserve for IFR, so they've got a strong team. Very, very much a strong lineup. Hopefully it is going to provide some great racing, of course, out on track around the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia, and of course this track is no bounds. 4.6 mile in length, 4.6 kilometres, 2.8 miles, I should say. 2 DRS zones, of course, one down the start-finish straight, one down in towards turn 11 as well, through turns 11 and 12 into turn 10, then through turn 11. And of course, we are running on the 2020 track layout, of course, change within real life, but hopefully we are going to be getting going very soon indeed. I think the final drivers are probably just joining within the lobby. And Mike, obviously, it is going to be a fascinating night's worth of action.
Yeah, absolutely. And from what I've experienced on this track, the little left-right chicane of 7 and 8 as you climb up the hill, absolute nightmare if you touch that inside curve. So we're going to see how these guys can manage that. And of course, the blind right under turn 9 as well. That's going to be another tricky one. You can get wide, get a bit loose, and could end up in the wall. Yeah,
you could end up in the wall. You could end up having safety cars as well out on track. I know in your race, Mike, we had 2, I think, safety cars within that race, which was not really strange to see around Spain. It's one of those tracks, as you say, where the curbs can get caught out quite a lot, and it really catches drivers out. And drivers have got to be very careful on the curbs on this game because they punish you. If you've got a downforce setup as well, you've got to be quite good in qualifying, but can you transition that as well to the race? All of that, of course, is to be found out. Of course, as we go in towards qualifying, let us get started and let us go into qualifying. This stream is sponsored by IGK TAS, telemetry analysis system powered by IGK. Welcome along, everyone, of course, to EML. We are here for Season 2 Spanish Grand Prix in the Premier Division, Round 2, around the track of Barcelona, Catalonia, of course. And looking at the 3 compounded tyres, of course, that we do have available out on track, it is the softs, mediums, and the hards, of course, to you and me. And those are the C3, C2, and C1 compounded tyres as well. They may be needing as well the intermediate and the wet condition tyres, certainly out on track. Maybe, of course, if it does rain. But looking at the track map in question, around the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia, as it loads up onto my screen, 4.6 kilometres, 2.8 miles, 16 turns awaiting these drivers out on track. 2 DRS zones, as I say, with the speed trap, of course, running down towards turn 1, the longest run, actually, on the F1 calendar, down in towards turn 1, and also one down in towards turn 10 as well. Quite a lot of elevation change, especially in the final sector. Hopefully the drivers are going to be having a great time of things out on track, as we transition, of course, into qualifying. And the main thing is, Honey Badger, we didn't take spectate of your car whatsoever, so I apologise for that. And we have got a wet grid as well, wet qualifying.
Yep, the heavens have opened here in Spain, and it's going to be interesting to see how these guys now cope. We mentioned how tricky it can be in the dry, but in the wet, this is a whole nother animal to deal with. As I say, get to Catalonia.
It is indeed. Mika is the first man out on track for VER. Hopefully it is going to be a fantastic night's worth of action, of course, for Mika. And I've just realised, actually, TRT are missing a driver because we didn't take spectate mode for Honey Badger, who I'm obviously controlling as part of the share play. TRT are only down to 1 driver. Does that call a restart, possibly?
I mean, maybe. I'm not sure. I think that'd be up for the heads to decide. I think everyone in qualifying right now would probably be saying yes, restart because of the conditions, but
they're probably thinking. Yeah, I was going to say, they're probably thinking to themselves as well, why's TTG got 3 drivers instead of 2? But anyways, we'll continue on as we are for now. If we hear anything, of course, we'll let you know. But Mika now coming through the final couple of corners, down in towards 12, 13, and then in towards 14 and 15, of course, being the chicane. And then turn 16 is really, really difficult. About 9 or 10 seconds off compared to a draw lap time around here in Spain. So expect lap times probably to be in around the 1:26 mark, as Mika now runs across the line, on the run down in towards turn 1, of course, a 500-metre run down in towards turn number 1 here at Spain. and breaking up the 100-meter ball, gets the car turned in nicely on the curve through turn 1, and then coming through turn 2. Of course, representing VER, his teammate Marlon, of course, is also out on an out lap at this stage. Charles has just started a lap. Oh, as he gets caught wide. Mika really recovering the car. That's an invalid lap, however, for Mika coming through the end of the first sector. Yellow flags as well in sector 1. Just before him, I think it might be one of his teammates, in fact, that might have spun, or certainly one of the FRL guys. They've got very similar liveried cars, according to the graphics on the left-hand side, along with FVR as well, so there's a lot of black, I've got to say, out on track, and you can probably see it on the track map at the bottom. Mika's still going, though, on this lap. But what about with Charles as well, if we can? The CGT man currently in the middle sectors. He now comes through in towards the kink of 6, and then through the chicane of turns 7 and 8. And Charles now, obviously on a valid lap, in a green livery car, of course. We are running the multiplayer cars, of course, if you're not familiar with the EML Premier. No Mercedes, no Red Bull, no Ferrari, none of the top constructors, but Charles now running down in towards turn number 10. Of course, reprofiled turn number 10 in real life, not on the game, however. The Masters really need to sort themselves out as we now come through turn 11 and then in towards turn 12. You can see puddles on the outside. It's not too far away, to be honest, from heavy wet conditions, I would say. Rain has not fallen enough, though, for it to be heavy wet conditions, and of course the Inters follow through with 25 litres of water disposed of a second around here, of course, in Spain, and every second, of course, with the tyres as we now come through the final corner with Charles on the runs towards the line, and Charles now comes across the line, and it's a 127.2, so not actually too far off what I predicted, a 126.
Yeah, exactly, and there goes FRL run right there, doing the 26, so immediately jumping ahead, we got his CGT Belanda in behind on a 28 flat, a lot of time spread out at the moment.
Yeah, Hadler looks like he's on a good lap here as well. Comes through the final corner. The German, of course, representing TTG, comes to the line. 27.5 puts him into third. Probably more of a dry weather specialist than a wet weather specialist. Certainly out on track as Javier now goes to the top. He's had a purple middle sector and a purple final sector in that as well. So Javier now goes to the top for SXT, of course, renamed formerly as Sync, of course. But Javier out on top. Ron in second, Charles in third, Cielu in fourth with Trinity in fifth. Looking further down the field as well, Ryan Marvin, one of our new drivers, of course, representing FMSL. It's a bit of a mouthful to say. Hi Marvin now coming in towards 7 and 8. If his name wasn't so much of a mouthful, it's the FMSL bit that I'm going to get really confused with in commentary. I should have really figured out my pronunciation. But hi, Marvin now coming through turn 9 and then in towards turn 10, coming through the end of the middle sector as well. Not looking too bad actually in the middle sectors. We see movements up the field. I think Mika has gone second with the 26.8. But currently, Mike, out on track. Javier out on top, 26.7. Exactly sort of the times we want to be seen, really, from the Premier, guys.
At the moment, Javier getting himself up there and Ron there improving. So I think the track is getting quicker and quicker, so we should be seeing these times start to tumble down. I'm on board with FVR mode Stroll right now as he comes to the final corner. It's been a very good lap from him so far. Let's see where this is across the line, and there's a good lap. It puts him up to provisional pole.
It does put him to provisional pole, and of course, drivers are setting more than one lap on this set of inters, as proven beautifully there, straight on time with Siri going to the top with the 26.3, Moldstrol there in second, 26.4, and Ron in third with the 26.4 as well. Very close, nearly a tenth of a second, covering the top three at the minute. Of course, drivers will tend to improve on their lap times, and the more running they do on this set of inters, the drier the track is going to become later on in the session, as the rain obviously is still falling in Spain, quite appropriately, but Celio out on top, Moldstrol second, Ron in third. And I said with Moldstrol, we are apparently, I've just been informed in my ear, we are having a restart of the lobby. So what you're seeing out on track at the minute is not going to be the qualifying session because we didn't take spectate mode of Tom. There is going to be a restart for EML Premier. So, as if the drama couldn't get any more, I failed to take spectate mode and we are beginning the session again.
Yep, and we'll see. I think a lot of guys will be breathing a sigh of relief, especially the TRT lads will be breathing a sigh of relief as well, knowing that they can get their second driver in. But yeah, everything about to get reset and we go again.
Yeah, Ron, by the way, came in with a 25.8. Not that it matters at all. Ron though had on top with a 25.8. Certainly in this session, most drivers are now leaving this session, so we'll probably be on a stream at the minute in terms of a little break from the on-track action. But what I can say is the track is developing very nicely. Obviously, with the restart session, we're going to be running with the same conditions, so it is going to be intermediate conditions again out on track. And, of course, with it being restarted, everyone gets to choose what tyres they go out on, whether that's the inters, whether, of course, that's the wet compound tyres. Again, sorry about the delays. Sorry about not taking control of Tom's spectate mode. That was my fault, I think, with that. So I'll load up to that one live on stream. But we are getting a restart, Mike, and obviously, TRT missing one driver. They get Bunty in, I think, as their second driver, which is great. And, obviously, gives them a chance to perform well.
Yeah, TRT with our second driver is going to help out massively because two drivers better than one when it comes to earning points in Formula One, especially here in EML. And I'm just a little bit concerned now about how the task system will respond with this restart. Hopefully, it all goes well.
Yeah, I think it should be fine. I think we're in the same... obviously, we're going to be going into a new lobby, so hopefully that might not affect the task system. If it does, we'll let you know. There might not be a task system maybe going into the second session, the second qualifying session. But out on track, hopefully we're going to be seeing some great action. As Lucas said as well in the comment section, session has been red flagged. The driver wasn't able to join because of commentary failing to spectate. I'll own up to that one, as I say, and apologise profusely for not letting Bunty in. Bunty is now probably going to be absolutely mad with me in not letting them in the session. Drivers are still going around on track. We're in the lobby as we are at the minute. The drivers are still going around, so they're doing cycle laps at the minute, and most of the times are now beginning to dip down into the 125. So that's probably the time we're going to be looking at probably later on when we get this new session restarted, Mike.
Yeah, I think for everyone, they're waiting for that invite to join the new lobby. So, I mean, while you're waiting, you might as well get as much practice in the inters as you can.
You can do two things, I would say. Get practice in if you're a driver, and go and grab a cup of tea if you're just watching at home. And if you're cold like us three, living, of course, in Europe, where it is absolutely freezing, I have got my hand, quite literally, on my radiator, and it's blasting through hot, hot air because it is that cold here tonight up north in the United Kingdom. Typical, isn't it?
It's not that bad for me. I think that sounds more like a you problem than anything else.
You're lucky, Mike. You're really, really lucky, honestly. Obviously, we are commentating, I should say, from different locations. So obviously, me and Mike are in our houses, of course. And Tom, of course, who's doing the graphics, and you're seeing the replay cams coming from Mike's perspective as well. All of this comes into the big show, and hopefully we're going to be getting going very soon indeed. And we hope that we are going to get the session restarted. It seems, looking at the session, we are going to... Yeah, the new session has been created, invites are now being going out, and I am going to... Well, I don't know. What can we talk about, Mike, while we fill the time?
We could talk about real life F1, what happened in Russia.
Don't even get me started on Russia. Don't even get me started on Russia. Terrible, I think, from our perspective. Of course, Lando, of course, leading the race very late on. And it was one of those races where conditions changed. You saw qualifying with it being full dry conditions pretty much throughout the session, turning wet to dry. Complete comparison in the race, obviously dry to wet really at the end of the race. It was pretty much like Codemasters had actually put that weather in with about 5 laps to go, and obviously didn't give Lando a chance of getting his first race win. But regardless, Lewis Hamilton, 100 wins now in Formula One. Regardless if you are an opinion of him or not, he is the greatest F1 driver, arguably now, on the F1 grid. With 100 wins, nobody has matched that, and probably nobody ever will match that in the next 100 years, if it continues, of Formula One. And I think it's a record that is going to be held. And remember, he's probably still not at his peak. And he's going to get more wins, maybe another championship to boot as well, to beat the legendary Michael Schumacher, of course, to the title that is going to be this season. But hopefully, hopefully it is going to be a fantastic season. And of course, in real life, if I'm not mistaken, they go to Turkey next in 2 weeks' time. And Turkey, of course, was one of my favourite tracks in F1 2010 when I used to play the game.
Yeah, same. Lot of love for Turkey. I do kind of wish that they include it into this game. The only other track I'd love to see come back is Malaysia.
Oh, Malaysia was an absolute fantastic track. I actually had a league race win around there in Malaysia, you know. And that's very rare to say on the stream. I actually had a league race win around Malaysia. Yeah, albeit it was on F1 2012 or 2013 when the esports scene wasn't getting going and when AOR was in their 9th season. But honestly, it was an absolute thrill. It was in a smaller league as well. And I think these small leagues have to take recognition, have to take, obviously, the real presidents out on track. Of course, like us in TTML, we're a very small league, like we commentate as well for LOE, I know, with Mike, and PSGL in my case as well, probably the biggest league on the PS4 platform. So we're really varied in terms of the commentaries that we do. We're very varied in terms of a community. It's fantastic to see, no matter if you love or hate the community, events like this put us on the map, put us right at the front and centre, and even we could be seeing some brilliant F1 stars coming forward, hopefully, in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say over the past 2 years, that the levels of quality of drivers being produced across all the platforms have increased dramatically. And obviously, that's only going to add to the esports scene when you got such a wide variety of top quality drivers.
Yeah, I mean, just to reflect on my experience, and Tom will probably back me up on this as well because I know he's behind the scenes. He did the graphics for the PSGL event, and I did obviously the league commentary for the event as well. Aidan was alongside me, who did League One commentary tonight. So from us going really from an EML perspective and from a TTML perspective to a gig like that, it's really great. And just to see the drivers, how they've evolved from literally being absolute nobodies 2 years ago to where they are now. It's absolutely fantastic to see. I mean, in the top 3 in that race was Duncan Hofland, who obviously was pro exhibition. He finished 5th place and finished behind Matthias van Erven, who was in obviously F1 Esports this season. Blizzard was 2nd. CRG Blizzard was 2nd. He has won many championships across many different leagues, probably an F1 Esports star of the future as well. And then in 3rd place, obviously, with Jensen, complete. I'm going to word this right because I know IFR are probably watching this. Jensen did an absolute great job as an underdog, but on pace, he's not up there with the likes of Duncan and with the likes of Blizzard. But as I say, it's events like this with the best coming from around the world onto a sim racing game like this. It is going to make for some fantastic action. Hopefully, we're not too far away, by the way, for getting going here in Spain. We have got a couple of drivers, I think, that we are missing. I can see both TLT drivers are now in as well, which is fantastic. But really good to see Robin as well in the comment section. Hello, James. Nice to hear you again. It's nice to see you again, of course, Robin. And looking through the comments section as well, let us know who you're supporting. If you're tuning in for the first time, let us know who you're supporting. Let us know what team you're supporting. And it'll be fantastic, of course, to come across on the stream. But, Mike, hopefully we're going to get going. It's hopefully second time is an absolute charm. Of course, it is going to be the same conditions as we had in the previous qualifying session that you saw a little bit earlier on. And it means to say we're going to see track evolution pretty much right up until the end of qualifying.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping I can get an invite.
Oh, have you not got an invite?
No,
oh, we need Mike an invite. Oh, God. There's always one that we forget. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. If somebody can fling Mike an invite, that'd be absolutely fantastic from our perspective. I mean, I would do it, but obviously I'm controlling Tom's account. So it's not that I can do, apparently.
I got one.
You've got one? No problem.
One. I'm joining now.
That is brilliant. I'm glad you've got one, otherwise it kind of looks a little bit bad. But anyway.
Ted in the pit lane, watching back on the stream.
Yeah, we've got a Ted Kravitz maybe going around out on track like old school back in LOE F2 where he saw me spin at the turn 3 at Zandvoort. Not really my greatest sight of my career. However, of course, we are getting going now. The countdown has started 30 seconds ago. As you saw a little bit earlier on, the track introduction, we're going to bring you through the track map now for the Spanish Grand Prix. And I just need to get it up on my screen as well. And of course, it's 4.6 kilometers and then 2.8 miles. 2 DRS zones, as I say, one down the start-finish straight, one down towards turn 10 as well. DRS zones, of course, galore. Overtaking opportunities galore as well, but plenty of curbs, as you mentioned, Mike, earlier on, that can catch you out.
Yeah, so key curbs to keep an eye out for is obviously that turn 2 curb where it's so easy to spin the car on the inside if you take a bit too much of it. Turn 7, the inside curb, they can really unsettle you and throw you off, invalidating you or chuck you in the wall on the exit of turn 8. And of course, turn 9, just running too far wide can obviously unsettle the car and also send you into a wall. And to be fair, I would say turn 12 is also a very tricky one. The car likes to have a little bit of a rear end snap mid-corner through the tractions. And of course, the final chicane of 14 and 15. You get it right, nothing better. You get it wrong, it's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, you get it right, it's an absolute delight. You get it wrong, and it's an absolute pain. That might be a new slogan that we could come by here in TTML and certainly in EML. But we have now got on-track action beginning once again. It is the same conditions, slightly lighter rain as the first session, but we are now getting going with the first cars leaving out on track. And the first car actually is Marcus Stoll, who has actually cut the exit of the pits lane, which is not that great to see, especially when we ride on board you first time. But the Dane, hopefully for a very good result, of course, and very wide actually coming through turn 3, already invalidated his lap. Hopefully he's not going to be doing that within his lap. But Marcus, very quick driver in the day. Mode Stroll, of course, is a very quick driver as well. He's formed part of the PSGL lineup for FVR. And Marcus is a very quick driver, but like that, if you oversee it coming through and if you apply just that little bit of throttle and then get in the way of drivers as well, doesn't really set you up, to be honest, for possibly a great lap. But Marcus probably just testing the limits slightly of his car.
Yeah, and for Marcus, having a bit of a rear end snap on your outlap's not really ideal, as you want to have a nice smooth outlap and get yourself really set up. And oh my God, his back end is absolutely everywhere through turn 10, and it's going to be interesting because obviously if his outlaps this sketchy at the moment, his flying lap, it could be under threat if his back end's that loose.
Yeah, not only that as well, it's affecting drivers in behind. Luckily, they're all now beginning spaced out coming through the 14-15 complex. Marcus now starting up on a lap, runs across the line to start us off on a lap. Expect lap times, as we say, around the 1:25-26 marks, possibly out on track. Sealy's just started a lap behind him as well. But Marcus now for FVR running down in towards turn 1. Breaks just after the 100 metre ball, gets the car turned in through turn 1 and then through turn 2. Nicely done for Marcus. And now comes through turn 3, of course, where he went wide on his outlap as he now runs through turn 3. That's more like a little bit of application of the throttle on the exit, and now comes through the end of the first sector. Not a too bad first sector as well from the Dane out on track, or I should say the Norwegian, out on track as Marcus now comes through turn 4 and then down the hill in towards turn number 5. Task system, by the way, looks like it's working absolutely fine, certainly from my perspective. I think it's working fine from my perspective. Marcus coming through 7 and 8 though out on track as he now comes through in towards the normal flat right-hander of turn number 9. The corner that can really catch you out. If you run wide there, you will get an invalid lap. Marcus looks very good through turn 9 and then in towards the complex, of course, of turns 10. And then on the uphill rise of the highest point of the track through 11 and 12. And again, a middle sector. Purple currently out on track, but Cedar looks like he's beginning to catch him on a lap, so probably going a little bit quicker than Marcus ahead. Marcus now comes through turn 12 and then in towards 13 and then 14 and 15 the complex, of course, the chicane. 2 layouts, of course, around here with Spain. One being the MotoGP layout, the other being the Grand Prix layout. As now Marcus comes through the final corner, really gets caught on the curb. Could have been an invalidation there, but he now runs to the line. Marcus on a very solid lap comes to the line, 25.7. Starts us off, that's a very good lap.
And only marginally quicker than Salou.
Marginally quicker than Sulu, indeed. And yeah, I meant to Loco is also on a lap. Ron has gone quickest now with a 25.5. Charles is coming through the final couple of corners as well for CGT. I think he was formerly known as Pingu, if I'm not mistaken, always the reserve driver. One of the two, as Charles now comes through the final couple of corners for CGT. Belandia, also his teammates, has just started up on a lap as well. And now Charles runs to the line, and he goes 6th with a 28.5. Probably not a lap time to write home about at the minute, but we're very early on in qualifying. One out on top, Marcus second, Silu in third. Currently looking good, I've got to say, for the FRL boys, first and third.
Yeah, fantastic opening laps from the FRL lads, and they'll be looking to improve on this and maybe get both cars on the front row.
LRB is coming through the final corner, comes to the line 26.2, so good luck there from the OFL man. Of course, teaming up with Tom Robbo with a 25.8. Tom Robbo currently in fourth, Hadler there in fifth. I meant to Loco on a lap. Bunty obviously invalidated on his lap as well. Yaniek is another one that's invalidated on his lap. Motor just started up on another one. Trinity is invalid. And Hyatt Marve is creating his own track limits, it seems. So I don't think we're going to see many improvements. Looking through the end of the middle sector, actually Ron is improving, 31.8 through the middle sector from Ron, so the FRL man will be hoping for a very good result, of course, out on track. They were one of the teams, I think, that got a -5 point deduction for not lining up their team before the deadline, so obviously they performed it after the deadline. Ron, though, comes to the line 25.4, making up for lost time, I think. Obviously they missed the deadline for their lineup submission, and they picked up -5 points, as well as two other teams, which I'll come on to in just a second. Ron out on top, Tilu in second, and Marcus now in third. Not many improvements being found, I don't think, Mike.
Obviously, for the opening laps, it's just about getting used to the conditions, getting used to the track. As you said, this is slightly different to the conditions that they were just running in, so obviously having to readjust to the slight change. Going to take a few laps as Tom Robbo pops himself up into third, and there goes Mode Stroll there on provisional pole at 24.7.
24.7. Are you actually serious? I'm going to have a look at his stats and see. His first, middle, and final sectors: 23.7, 31.7, 29.2. It's that final sector where he's gained 4.5 tenths of a second to go on to pole position currently. 24.7. That is going to be, I think, probably a hard time to beat.
Yeah, and this is a lot closer to the times you were predicting in the first lobby.
It ain't. See, listen to me, listen to Mystic James over here in the commentary box. But yeah, Mudstraw lad on top, Silu in second, Ron in third, Trinity I'm on board with now, formerly known as Black Phoenix, of course. I think he was part of the CPI team, as that was a car round. That was Borja, I think, for F1 France Cup. He was facing the backwards, coming through turn 10 and 11. Trinity, though, now coming through in toward 14 and 15. We'll see if the TTG man is actually on a lap as he now comes through the final couple of corners. Yeah, he's still on a lap, so he now comes around the final corner. The TTG man, of course, the Brit, running to the line, and Trinity sets a 7th position, 25.6 from Trinity, 3-lap-old intermediate compounder tyre. And we're seeing plenty of improvements as well. Sealy went second, Ron there in third. Noscar has just gone up into fourth as well for FFC.
Yep, he's just been dropped down into fourth though, Noscar. I'm currently on board with CDG Belindia. I'm going to say it wrong every single time, Belindia, as we come to the line, and 25.9, so almost a 2/10 improvement there.
Yeah, Bunty went 7th as well. Of course, Bunty races in TTML F4, also within FRL F2 as well, which I commentate on a Tuesday night. Well, I commentate on FRL F1, but he's in pretty much the same tier as what I commentate on. But Bunty 25.5, good lap from him in 7th. Javier there in 8th as well for SXT, of course, formerly known, I think, as Sync, obviously rebranding as Sync. So Javier now coming through the final couple of corners. The camera angle really not picking him up, actually, as he comes through 10, 13, and then through 14 and 15, but nearly halfway through, and Modster lad on top, Silu in second, Ron in third, as Javier gets caught on the inside curve. The rain is beginning to ease off, however, out on track, so could see driving in toward the end of the session. Javier now runs to the line, didn't actually improve on that lap time, but he will get another crack of the cherry, as drivers are now beginning to come out the pit lane, I think, for their second lap.
Yeah, I'm on board with SXT Yannick right now. Seems to be struggling into turn 5 and going deep again into 7 and validating on turn 8. Definitely struggling with braking points here in the wet conditions.
Yeah, Janiak, if I'm not mistaken, is, well, I think he's invalid. And my task system again has gone a little bit awry.
Yeah, he's invalid.
He's invalid. It says it's a 25.8 on my screen. I think, yeah, I think the task system is messed up because that, I think, is TRT Kyle on a 25.898. Janiak showing currently in 12th in the task system. So take it as a pinch of salt. No score there with a 25.4 as well. Blaze Modestroll out on top, Silu in second, Ron in third, no score in fourth at this stage in qualifying. 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Probably what I would say is take everything with a pinch of salt on the task system if you're using that. Look at the screen instead. They're showing the correct standings at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's going on with the task is carried over some of the lap times from the previous session. I think.
Yeah. I think it's mixed up everyone's order as well, if I'm not mistaken, because it's showing Kyle is Mika, and vice versa. There was a little bit of front wing damage actually coming into the pit lane. Not sure who that might have been picked up from. Javier hit the left side of the wall as well coming through. Marcus Thole, however, has just started up on another lap. So let's run him over them. 25.7 currently out on track from him. Modestroll still out on top. Silu in second, Ron in third. You would imagine with Marcus's perspective, if he's anywhere near his teammate, he is going to be very, very quick. And you would imagine he's probably going to go in and around the 2F all boards.
Yeah, that's what he's got to be aiming for, to get as close to his teammate as possible, to back up Modestroll right now, who's currently got two FRL lads breathing down his neck for that pole position, and at the start they're going to be breathing down his neck going into turn 1 as well, so he needs to get himself up the order.
Yeah, he backed off coming through the middle sector. He ran very wide coming out of turn 11 and then through turn 12. He is, by the way, a Borja on your task system if you are following along with Task Bingo, but 25.7 from Marcus at the minute. Currently out on track. It looks like he's going to come into the pit lane. No, he's going to continue on at least with another lap, but Modestroll out on top, Sealing second, Ron in third. Drivers in the pit lane still. The top two are still in the pit lane, as there was a spinner, I think, through the middle sector. Drivers in the pit lane, what are you reading into that? Because obviously we've still got 7 minutes to go. Are they waiting for dry running maybe at the end of the session?
Potentially. I was on board with Adler. He was up by 2 temps in the middle sector, and he was quite. I think he lost about 4 temps altogether in the final sector. So Adler, they just doing an eye for Bryn Mike and bottom it at the last minute.
I'm glad you're taking now ownership of that bottle earlier on, by the way. However, Marve is just invalidated coming at the exit of turn 9. Was on a very good lap until that point. Down there in 18th position currently for the FMSL driver. 23.9 it was through the first sector from Hawaii Marve. His teammate Imenta Loco is also out there on track. The Spaniard. Rain is beginning to ease off, I think, though, out on track. I don't think this track dries very quickly, normally in real life. And if it's anything to go by, this track will dry very quick again on this game. So, if it stops raining, probably within the next 2 or 3 minutes, we have got a slight chance, and only a slight chance, I think, of getting dry running. But the more that it rains out on track, the less likely we're going to get of dry running. There was a yellow flag through the middle sector. I think that was Trinity, or Hadler, one of the 2 TTG boys, on a lap. But now, as we see, Marcus Stoll goes 4th. Good lap from him. Trinity actually goes 3rd as well with a 25.2. So good laps from them. No score is 7th now, 25.4. LRB in 8th. Behind Mental Loco. Now coming in towards the final couple of corners. Through turn 15 and then through turn number 16. Let's wait and see where this lap time is going to be. 27.6. He should improve on this lap. Comes across the line. 27.2 but didn't improve his position.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm into Loco, and I am going to say that wrong, so I do apologise. I am going to butcher that name many times, as well as his teammates. But I'm currently on board with Belanda in the middle sector, and Belanda really struggling right now. Half a second off his previous lap in the middle sector.
Yeah, Belandia, of course, down at the minute in 17th position for CGT. We're right on board with them now on my end. 25.9 coming through turn 12. Then in towards through 13, and then in towards 14 and 15, of course, 16 turns, making up nearly a 5-kilometre circuit, of course, even Spain. The rain again is beginning to ease off. It's going to be very close to stopping very soon indeed. But Belandia now runs the line. and doesn't improve on his lap time. 25.9, really struggled coming through that middle sector. One of the TRT boys is going slow through the middle sector as well. I have a feeling that might be Kyle getting out of the way, and it is Kyle on an out lap.
Yeah, as Charles, I was on board with him as he just finished the middle sector, and he was a good margin up on his time as he crossed the line. Big improvement there, jumps himself up into 8th.
Yeah, good lap from Charles. Currently beating his teammate as well by a good amount of time. Belandi, you need to get a lap time in. Ron now runs the line and doesn't improve. Celia now runs the line as well. Doesn't improve. So I'm not seeing any improvements just yet. Drivers might be just starting up on laps, of course. Trinity there in 4th. No Scar is making his own track limits in 5th at the minute, but Marcus still there in 6th. Hadler in 7th. Drivers are not going to get lap time in. Marcus is into the pit lane. Hadler's in there. Tom is in there still. Hadler, in fact, is just coming out the pit lane. I think we've got around 3 minutes left, if I'm not mistaken. So ideally, drivers need to be going for multiple laps to try and improve.
Yeah, absolutely. And the man I'm currently on board with right now is Trinity, currently in 4th place. Was up on his sector 1 time as we come into sector 2, and he's a 10th up in sector 2, so this could put him around Ron and Safilu, who is their lap times. See what his final sector is like as break down into 14 and 15 in the chicane. Hits that bump on the inside of 15, and that's going to unsettle the car, but is he going to find the time to the line? And he does, he goes up in the second.
Yeah, good improvement from Trinity, goes second. I'm on board with Charles in behind as well. Doesn't come across the line to improve. Bunty is in 11th position. Invalid. Javier there is also on a lap as well. Still 2.5 minutes to go in the session. Modestroll out on top. Trinity second. Ron in third. If you are just tuning in, task system is broke. We had to restart the lobby and the task system is broke. So look at the screen. Try and compare it if you've got access to the task system currently. But as commentators, it is a little bit difficult. But I can compare the drivers that we've got in the task system to the drivers out there out on track. So everyone's a bit jumbled up, but follow the guys on the left-hand side and it should be fine. As LRB, I think, disconnected and has rejoined, which is good to see. Hopefully that might not cause a lobby issue, but Modestroll out on top, Trinity second, Ron in third, currently with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, I was just on board with Ron again, very wayward through turns 4. Manages to keep it under control. He is slightly down on his time right now. He's going to need to find more as he comes into 7 and 8. Keeps the car in check through there, up top of the hill through turn 9. So valid, and now with final sector, the major elevation changes in this final sector. He is a 10th up going to the middle sector split. Let's see what the final sector is saying as he gets very loose there through turns 12, and I think that might have just cost him all the time he had.
Yeah, I'm on board with Modestroll, and Modestroll as well is improving quite a lot. He's nearly 3/10 up, coming through the end of the middle sector, now through 14, and then towards 15, as Sealer was retired out on track, that's through the final corner, maybe in fact in the pit lane. He's crashing the pit lane on the right hand side. Ron goes quickest, but I think Modestroll's going to beat this. Modestroll to the line, 24.5, he responds immediately, and that was on a fresh lap of Inters as well. So Modestroll out on top, Ron in second, Trinity in third. Trinity's just started up on his lap. I'm going to compare the first sector times now as he comes through. 23.7 from Trinity. He's about 700th of a second off on Modestroll's purple first sector.
Yep, and Hadler unable to improve as he was the next one to cross the line. Got about just under 30 seconds left. Is someone off making sandcastles on the exit of turn 5?
I like that. I like that a lot. Who was that? Was one of the VAR drivers, possibly? It was Mika.
It's not the time to go to the beach, Mika.
It's not. Beach is well away from the circuit, in fact, around here. We've seen improvements as well. No Score's gone 5th, Javier in 6th as well. Marcus still on a good lap.
Osho's flipped the car.
Flipped the car?
Yeah, he flipped the car.
He's flipped the car. I'm on board with Marcus, comes to the line, goes 5th. Hopefully we're catching that on Mike's end, by the way, and we've got a replay cam on that.
He literally barrel rolled.
Barrel? Who was that again? Was that Hoya Marve?
No, that was Modestroll.
Modestroll? Oh wow. So Modestroll's there in first. He's still going around out on track for me though. Very strange.
Yeah, he barrel rolled back onto his tyres, so he was very
But,
lucky.
well, when defying gravity actually works, you see it in the Codemasters game. Mode's dropped out on top, running second. No Scott, I don't think is improving coming through this final sector. He looks like he's actually down on his time at the minute
Adler gets
32
himself up
flat through the
there.
middle sector. Yeah, Hadler's gone third with a 24.8, so puts it up there. No Scott to the line. Actually did improve in the final sector, so good that from him. Tom Robbo was not on the lap. Yavier's not on the lap either. What can Bunty do? He's been running to the line. He's invalid as well. Marlon's invalid. Belandia is either backing off on the lap or he's coming now through turn 10, and Belandia has backed off the lap. I think he might have been sent out up possibly for Charles, but Charles is not on the lap.
Yannick up in the 6th at the end there. I think he's
right from
the last one.
Yeah, right from 20th position as well. I think that is the end of qualifying, as you say, Mike. And it is Modestroll out on top. Ron in second. 2 TTG boys third and fourth. Again, very, very good in qualifying. But Modestroll holding his own. Maybe he can perform a Lance Stroll. That was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't read that at all.
That's terrible. Fire me now. Fire me now. Modestroll though out on top. Running second, Hadler in third. And honestly, what I said about the PSGL event has came true. Modestroll was very quick in the PSGL event in qualifying in Baku. Obviously, he's transitioned that through his league races so far this week and through tonight even EML. He's channeled that in 24.5. I would argue he's probably the quickest driver that we've got here tonight in Premier. Ron and Hadler and Trinity are very, very quick drivers as well. But, as I always say, it's one thing to perform and do a one-lap shootout, basically, in qualifying, and then to transition to the race. You've got to make that transition to the race, and that's, overall, what makes you a good driver.
Yeah, absolutely, and I believe we're waiting for Belandia to retire in the pit lane as he just does that. Right there, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the conditions are, to see if there's a dry race and to see if anyone was running a dry setup.
Yeah, I hope from everyone's perspective it is going to be a dry setup. Oh, look, there's Gary Donegan. It's Modestroll out on top. It's Ron in second. A running joke, I think, between myself and my LOE commentator there, but Modestroll out on top, Ron in second, Hadler in third, Finn at the top three, with Trinity in fourth and Silu in fifth position, ran off the top side. So very good showing from FER, from FRL, and of course from TTG as well. Yannick there in sixth, Marcus seventh, No Score in eighth, Tom Robbo in ninth, Javier in 10th, Kyle 11th, Charles in 12th, LRB 13th, Bunty in 14th, Marlon in 15th, Mika 16th, Belandia 17th, Borja in 18th, and Huayamave and Armenta Loco starting right down the back of the field. The commentator's nightmare with them both starting right down at the back of the field. But, of course, we now transition from qualifying into the formation lap, and I believe we've got some advertisements to run, so let us run them through. This stream is sponsored by IGK TAS, telemetry analysis system powered by IGK. And we are back here, of course, in EML Premier. Really hoping that you are enjoying tonight's evening. And we're back here for Premier action, of course. And Mike, it's beautiful blue sky, sunshine.
That it is, which means the lap times, if they were all done on dry setups, are even more impressive, getting in the 24s with a dry setup in intermediate conditions. But I guess now we're going to see how everyone having free choice of tyre compound. Strategy, there's many available. You can go soft hards, medium hards, hards, medium, hard softs. You can even try a two-stop if you're feeling a bit fancy.
I think two-stop, honestly, the likelihood of a safety car, I think, is somewhere like above 50% around this track. So honestly, it wouldn't be too surprising to see a safety car very early on out in this session, and it'll provide everyone. There's a really pit stop strategy just coming up on my screen, and it says a one-stop mediums to hards, lap 14 to 16 is when they're pit in, and the other two-stop, I think, was a little bit earlier on than that. But we'll see, because everyone's now got a free choice of tyre, of course, out on track, and we'll see what everyone has chosen for. They've been quite boring, I've got to say, but it looks like it's going to be one-stop strategy from pretty much everyone. 18 drivers on a set of mediums, the exception being Yannick and Huayamave, of course, who are on that set of hard compounder tyres. Everyone else on the set of mediums. So, Mike, I think, honestly, it's probably going to be a simple one-stop more than anything else.
Yeah, from the looks of it, everyone being a bit a bit boring. No one venturing onto a set of softs, and I'm very upset.
You're very upset. I think I'm even worse because I've actually seen most of the drivers have actually stuck with their own teammate on the same strategy, which I think defeats the whole object, obviously being a teams championship. But these guys could do what they want, obviously, in terms of strategy. I mean, TTG, they're top of the standings. They've got both their drivers on the second row of the grid, and they're both starting on that set of medium compounder tyres. So obviously, one driver is going to probably pit in either before or after another. And that really bears the question, when are we going to see these guys pitting in? For a set of mediums, it's probably going to be around the halfway stage. For a set of hards, you're looking at like lap 26, 27 maybe.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, for the hards, is what will they go on after that? Because Yannick and, yeah, I'm already giving up trying to pronounce it, I can't do it.
Hoya Marve.
Hoya Marve, right. Yannick and Hoya Marve, for them, it's interesting because they can go onto a set of mediums, or they can try and extend from maybe a late safety car and just put onto a set of softs.
Before anyone gets annoyed at the pronunciations, he's Welsh, I'm Northern. That's all you need to know. Simple. EML Premier League about to begin. Mike, I'm going to come across you. I think we're waiting on our mental loco to join up on the back of the grid. But who's your top three?
I'm going to go with Moldstro for the win, Trinity second, Ron third.
Interesting. I'm going to go Moldstro for the win as well. I think he's got the pace. I think Sealu's going to be second for FRL. And for third, I'm going to go with Tom Robbo. If he's got pace in this race, watch out from down in P9 for IFR as now the 5 redheads come on here in the gantry for round 2 of the championship in the EML Premier. And it's lights down the way we go. Slow stop by Moldstone. He's going to get jumped by Ron, Hadler, and maybe even Trinity as well, running down in towards turn 1. And Ron is through and he's into the lead of the race. And Hadler and Trinity follow through as well. There's a little bit of contact, I think, further down the field. But that was one of the VER drivers in LRB, one of the IFR. There was a little bit of front wing damage, I think, flying there as well in the front pack. But Ron leads the way. Hadler second, Moldstone third, Trinity fourth. Everyone's clean through turn 2. Then through turn 3, Marcus has been forced out on the outside line, losing positions galore. But Ron leads the way. Hadler in second, Moldstone third, Silu and Yaniek are going side by side as well. Tom Robbo side by side with no star. He's dropped a couple of positions off the start. Not sure who picked up the front wing damage. I certainly saw either a bollard or front wing damage fly through turn 3, but Ron leads the way. Tadler in second, Molster in third through the first half a lap as Mika's nearly going side by side with Yavier, and Marcus again is losing positions and has spun the car, I think, coming through 7 and 8, and he's off the track, and I think that might have been the one that obviously he got caught up, and I think he was the one that actually picked up the front wing damage right at end plate.
Yeah, he does have front wing damage. He didn't spin. Didn't spin though. He backed off and let everyone flew past him. So a bit of sportsmanship there from Marcus to not try and hold anyone up.
Yeah, good to see. He could have held up everyone and obviously played into his teammates' advantage. Moldstrol's obviously lost the lead. He got past Trinity, by the way, coming through the middle sector as well. So Moldstrol now through and he's into P3, Trinity there P4. I'm on board with Tom Robbo now coming across the line on the back of Yaniek, but it is Ron who leads the way. Hadler in second. It's Moldstrol in third. Timings are glitching on the left-hand side, so you can ignore them currently as they will fix themselves on lap 4. But Ron leads the way. Hadler in second. Moldstrol in third. Nobody going for a move down the straight.
Marcus overtaking the pit.
Oh, Tom Robbo's crashed! Tom Robbo's out, coming through turn 3. I think he's got to go on the outside curve. VSC, that might get deployed for full safety car, possibly. That is on the outside, coming through turn 3. But Bunty, Marcus, LRB, it's a blessing in disguise, really. They came into the pit lane. All of them are now coming out the pits. Marcus is actually inside LRB coming out the pit lane. But that's a blessing in disguise. They've gone onto a set of mediums and a set of hards. They wouldn't have known that VSC was coming out because they were in the pit lane. So it's actually a blessing in disguise. And they pretty much now are going to lead the race when everyone's going to make their pit stops.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing for Marcus is that, see, he's going to have to pit again. And he's got that 5-second time penalty to serve now.
He has got that 5-second penalty to serve. Obviously, you can't. Sometimes you can save it up. I've seen it on this game where you can save it up, and the coding in this game actually picks it up where you've got the 5-second penalty and you serve it literally straight away. I have seen that before, but obviously on this occasion, Marcus is going to have to do with that 5-second penalty. Either add it onto his time if he wants to continue on, or if there's another safety car, like we've got here with the VSC, if there's another safety car, as we get back underway, Ron leads the way, Hadler in second. Hadler caught a little bit napping, actually, from Moldstrahl. Moldstrahl just lost a little bit of time, as now DRS is enabled. Onto lap 3 we go. Everyone in single file formation. Looks like the two VER boys are looking quite close. Marlon and Mika are nearly running side by side down the straight. Mika's now pulling away from Marlon, and I don't think Marlon is going to get on the back of Mika for now in 11th and 12th. But Ron leads the way, Hadler in second, Moldstrahl in third. Through the first 3 laps, relatively unscathed from a majority of the field. Obviously, Bunty, Marcus and LRB coming in for front wing changes, so they're now down at the back of the field. However, as I say, blessing in disguise from their perspective, because they're probably going to be the quickest men out on track, probably later on in this race. Sealu's right on the back of Trinity.
Yep, and Noskar is right in the back of Yannick on those hard tyres. So, see, for Noskar, he's going to need to get past Yannick as soon as possible. He doesn't want to be stuck behind this hard runner for longer than what he used to.
Yeah, not using up any DRS actually running down the straight. Marlon is through. Mika was actually spun. Mika was spun. Coming through turn 9. I think he got caught wide and now lost the car completely. So Mika now is the latest victim coming through turn 9, and now he's down in 16th position. But of course, every single point scoring position is up there. These guys are going to pick up a minimum of 2 points currently out on track if they continue on as they are. Tom Robbo obviously induced with that collision with the wall. That's why he's out of the race. Moldstrahl, though, sets a new fast start the race. Trying to get onto the back of Hadler. Hadler, I think, was just within DRS range. He's not choosing to use up his DRS at the minute, but Ron leads the way. Hadler in second, Moldstrahl in third. Noskar catching Janiak down in towards turn 1. Not going to be doing the move, though, just yet. Janiak, though, looks like he's got a little bit of pace, actually, on that to the hard. He is dropping time, and he's losing pressure to the back of Sealu. But Janiak, at the minute, 6th position. If he can hold all of these guys up behind, the likes of Kyle, Charles, and Javier, Yannick's going to set him up really good later on in this race.
Yeah, the issue for Yannick at the moment is he's using a lot of VRS compared to Noskar in behind.
Yeah, Bunty's been overtaken as well. Marcus Stoll is through and he's into 17th, so Marcus clearly getting a move on. He's on the board with High Marve right on the back of Marlon. Marlon there in 11th, High Marve in 12th. But Hadler catching Ron out in front. Marlon just looked a little bit sketchy coming out of turn on now. That brings High Marve into play, and High Marve is not going to hang around. Down the inside line goes the MFSL driver, and Belandia as well is through, and I Mental Local just in behind. A little bit of lag actually from Borja just in behind as well. But High Marve has been outgunned by Marlon. A little bit of front wing now, nearly chopping off there from Borja's perspective. I Mental Local picks up a first 3-second time penalty of the night, and that's the first one of everyone. High Marve though cannot get through. Is he going to get through running down the straight? It remains to be seen. Hadler trying to catch Ron down the straight as well in towards someone. Not going to get the move done as Noskar right on the back of Janiak.
Oh, late move there to defend to the inside there from Yannick.
Very late move. Almost looked like side by side contact. Really, no wheel banging or anything like that. That was full on side by side contact. And Janiak, I think, from my perspective, certainly, I've just caught the end of that. I think, honestly, he might just need to watch where he's defending his car, because obviously you don't want to cause yourself problems and drivers behind you problems either.
Yeah, if you're going to make a defensive move, make it before the car's alongside you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is literally a God-given rule within Formula 1 where you don't really move across. You can only make really 2 moves. And that's one, to choose your position going into the corner, and then to defend that position out on track. But Ron leading the way, Hadler in second. We've got a DRS training for first down to 5th. First down to 5th. And then Belandia, I think, has just been overtaken by Marlon as well. So Belandia now down in 14th, Marlon up to 13th. Now puts our Mental Loco possibly under a little bit of pressure. But Moldstrahl on the back of Hadler. Is he going to try and get the move done? We've got a spinner in the middle sector, and it's Bunty that's rammed. So Bunty is round coming through turn 8. And Bunty, obviously a driver that I know very well, he should be doing a little bit better than where he is currently down in 19th position. But Ron leads the way. Hadler in second. Moldstrahl just looks like he's got so much pace as Borja's through on Hawaii Marve, and actually it's going to be a 2-for-1 because Marlon is now through on Hawaii Marve as well.
Yep, Hawaii Marve losing 2 positions in one straight.
Moldstrol's leading side by side with Hadler running down towards turn 5. What a move this is going to be. Around the outside. If he can get this car around the outside, this will be brilliant. As Moldstrol now and Hadler fight side by side. TTG against FER. And Hadler just about comes out on top. Moldstrol will look to try and get the switch back through 7, through 8. And now on the inside of turn 9. I think he's just got to back off. But he is being very, very aggressive. Could force Hadler into a mistake. Hadler's got DRS as well on the back of Ron. But Moldstrol is up for this. The Spaniard is trying to get on the back of Hadler. And the German is currently holding them off for now, but Moldstrol looks like he's in a hurry. He's pretty much like in a rush to get fuel. As Ron leads the way, I don't think Mike got that one. Ron leads the way, Hadler in second, Moldstrol in third. Trinity in fourth, Sealu in fifth, and Sealu's trying to get onto the back as well of Trinity. And Trinity made a mistake, I think, coming out the final corner, as now Moldstrol again is on the back of Hadler, and Sealu right on the back of Trinity. So the FRL man now going side by side with the TTG man, running down and towards turn number 1. Should be a move done. It is a move done. Sealu's through and he's into 4th position. No Scar is through and he's into 6th position, so snipes him down as well. Into 6th he goes.
Yeah, the issue for No Scar now is that being stuck behind Yannick for such a long time, he's lost 3.5 seconds to the top 5. And yeah, I didn't get what you said then. You sounded very robotic on my end.
I did sound very robotic. I think honestly, Storm had the same problem in League 2. It's honestly something to do with the parties. It's this firmware update that obviously PSN's brought out, and it is coming across a bit robotic. You weren't coming across robotic on my end, but I can hear a little bit of crackling in my headset. It's probably because I'm moving about quite a lot as well, as Hadler tries to defend on Moldstrol to try and defend the position, but he does for now. Running first, Hadler in second, Moldstrol in third. From 5 are pulling away, as you say. Janiek, though, on the back of No Scar, he is keeping up. He's in this DRS train. 2.9 seconds behind. No Scar's going to drag these guys along.
Yeah, No Scar's closing in, actually.
He's got free air, basically, and that's why he's closing in. I think Hadler's now going to put Ron maybe under a little bit of pressure. Yes, Stoney running down towards someone leading the way onto lap 8 we go. Hadler in second, Moldstrol in third, and yeah, Moldstrol now not hanging around. I don't think he's going to be close enough to running down the straight. Moron is into the pit lane, however. So Moron is into the pits. Janiek is on the back of No Scar. Charles on the back of Kyle. Nobody making moves just yet, but Moron, interestingly, into the pit lane as Moldstrol's nearly going side by side with Hadler.
Yep, outbreaking, trying to hang it around the outside of turn 4 on Hadler. Is he going to be able to do it?
Ooh. And Moldstrol just sends it down the inside line. I think he's going to run Hadler out of road. He's got to be very careful if he does. There was a spinner coming through, and I think that's Marcus Stoll that has ran. So the other FER driver is ran as well, and they were fighting side by side there. Moldstrol came out on top, and now, yeah, Sealu on the back of Hadler tries to look to the inside line, doesn't get the move done, and lets Trinity maybe in on this as well. I think he made a mistake, and now Sealu dives it down the inside line. Can the FRL man get the car stopped? Nearly, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact coming through 10, then through 11, forced up on the curb. There could be Sealu's position actually coming round turn 12. This would be brilliant if he can pull off this move. And they're still side by side. Hadler is giving him so much room. Sealu, though, ran the outside of turn 13, nearly gets the move done, has got the move done. That is absolutely excellent racing between them both. The FRL and TTG boys absolutely putting on a show. Sealu through and he's into third, but has now opened up a whole can of worms because Trinity's right on the back.
Yeah, not only that, Sealu does not have DRS, so he's going to lose that position once again to Hadler, and Trinity is just going to sit in behind, but just looking at Hadler, the back of Hadler's car there, the red light flashing, DRS is less than 10%.
Yeah, EOS less than 10%, and to be exact, actually, it's around 5%. Looking at the bottom of the steering wheel, but Ron leads the way. Moldstrol there in second, Hadler in third, Sealu in fourth. Janiek again, trying to catch on the back of No Scar. Since No Scar's got past, he can't really go anywhere. He's trapped in a bit of no man's land, really out on track, and that's why Janiek currently 0.4 of a second behind him. Yeah, he's got a penalty at the minute, and I'll run through the penalties in just a second. No Scar, though, looks like he's going to try and drag these guys into play. There are the penalties, by the way. Most of them 3 seconds. Marcus, obviously, with that 5-second penalty. Janiek, Quayamave, Imental Local, and Mika, if you can't see, have got the penalties so far out on track. Probably a lot more to come, because, Mike, you picked up a penalty on the final lap of the race, and you could have ended up in the podiums.
It would have been sick from... Very upset.
Very upset. That's why he nearly turned up a little bit late for commentary. Sealu has lost position, however, and has spun.
Sealu around. I caught the end of it as he was trying to flip himself back around. I wasn't on board, but Moldstrol came through on FRL1 now for the lead.
Yeah, that's absolutely crucial as well. Yannick's going side by side as well with Seeley running down in towards turn 1. Can Yannick get the car stopped on the inside line? He's on the receiving end this time. No Scar picked up a 3-second penalty. He needed to lose the car, and he has lost the car and has lost 2 positions as a result. So No Scar now down into 7th position. The FFC boys are not doing that well. Borja there down in 11th. No Scar just lost that purely on the exit of turn 3 and then ran wide on the entrance really into turn 3. Lost the car, lost 2 positions as a result. Seeley and Yannick will absolutely laugh up that one.
Yeah, absolutely. For Yannick as well, that's absolutely fantastic for him. Oh my god, as I just got on board him, touching the inside curve at 7, his car almost losing it on the exit of turn 8.
Yeah, this has opened up as well a load of people to come into the DRS train. We've got Charles, Javier, Borja also on the back. There was a spinner through the middle sector. I think that might have been Armenta Loco, if I'm not mistaken. That has spun. The Spaniard down in 14th position, getting the car back going again. He has lost time. He hasn't lost any positions, though, which I'm glad to report. Modestroll, though, leading the way. Ron in 2nd. Hadler in 3rd. Really hope you're enjoying this, by the way. A little bit delayed in terms of somebody not taking spectate mode on the commentator's end, i.e. me. Charles on the back of Kyler, running across the line. Lap 11 out of 33, and we're pretty much a third of the way through. Modestroll leads, Ron in 2nd, Hadler in 3rd, nobody making moves down and towards turn 1.
Yeah, Trinity in a bit of a no man's land at the moment, 1.7 seconds off the back of Hadler and 2.8 ahead of Silu. If you was Trinity right now, would you mind at the moment being outside DRS and losing time to your teammate? Because obviously the further away Hadler can get, the more efficient a double stack would probably work.
I honestly think Trinity might be holding something back. He doesn't look like he's got the pace compared to Hadler at this stage, but I have a feeling Trinity's tyres are probably going to be a lot better than Hadler, because I think these three, they're in that DRS train, they're all ingrained in each other's slipstream basically. And they're going to be wearing up those tyres more harder than Trinity is and then Sealer is, who are both in clear air and are both pushing basically to try and get up further up the field. But Trinity, I think, has got nothing to lose at this point. He's in 4th position. Does he try and make a pit stop early, try and undercut these guys later on in the race and then perform a TTG miracle strategy? Or does Trinity just stay behind? I think, honestly, with the pace he's losing, everyone's stuck in that DRS train as Ron is attacking for the lead of the race down towards turn 1, doesn't get the move done. Kyle on the back of No Scar as well, running down towards turn 1, and Kyle has got that move done, so the TRT boy is through and he's into 7th position. No Scar there in 8th position as well. But yeah, just coming back onto Trinity quickly, 2.6 seconds, he is losing time. The more time he's losing is really because of that DRS train. But I have a feeling he's just saving up those tyres towards the end of the race.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if Trinity wants to get back into this DRS train for the race league, surely he's got to go for an undercut.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. I mean, looking at the task system, as it has actually updated with it looks like the correct settings, which I'm really glad to report. Trinity, 39% wear on that front left tyre. Hadler's actually got a little bit less. Hadler's got 36%. So I think Trinity is in a bit of no man's land. He's got 2 disadvantages at this stage. 1, DRS train. 2, his tyres. His tyres are wearing off compared to the top 3, who basically can save their tyres in behind a slipstream train. Obviously, Modestroll leading the way, Ron in 2nd, Hadler in 3rd. But Trinity just gains a little bit of time actually on this lap round, coming through the final seconds, 2.5 seconds. But honestly, he needs to try and have a look in. He is not saving up any ERS either, so I think this is probably the maximum that Trinity can probably produce. As Charles is on the back of No Scar, don't think he's going to get the move done down and towards turn 1.
Trinity just dropping out of that 3-second window there. His teammate, which honestly, if you're outside DRS, you want to be within 3 seconds just in case. You never know, could be last lap and you pick up a 3-second time penalty and jump the fielder.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we haven't spoken about the top 3 even getting penalties yet, and I think Trinity, again, that's what he could rely on. Janiak has just picked up a penalty behind him, so that serves a little bit of purpose for Silu. Looks like he's beginning to try and gain on the back of Trinity. Trinity there in 4th position, however, TTG doing quite well. FER as well doing quite well. Marcus Thor obviously down in 16th position, so letting them slide down a little bit. There was a little bit of a graphics glitch there. Did you see that by any chance? Oh, that just flickered for me. Multiple leagues of everyone in second, Hadler in third. Nothing's changed, but that was a little bit strange.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't. I was looking at TAS, I wasn't looking at the
Always getting the excuses out, Mike. Well, TAS system, of course, is more important, I think, than trying to pick out a little bit of degrading pixels, possibly out on track. But Charles now on the back of No Sky. He's in P8. Charles currently in P9. Javier there in P10 as well. Montreal leading the way. Ron in second. Hadler in third. Everyone's still going around out on track, and hopefully we're going to be seeing some really good action to continue, of course, out on track. Internet connection apparently is a bit low on Tom's end, so hopefully that might improve as we go along. But we're still on that 14 out of 33. Montreal leads Ron in second. Hadler in third. Might have to do with Jack Nichols and Jolien Palmer at some point.
So which one are you?
Jack Nichols, obviously, lead commentator. Oh, is that... I just got a weird glitch. Mika, coming out the pit lane. The pit lines are completely glitching. His pit box is completely glitching. That was very strange.
Very strange indeed, and obviously now we're at that point where pit stops are going to begin to happen. Question is, who is going to dive in first? Top 3 will stay out. Will Trinity come into the pits? No, Trinity stays out.
I honestly think it's going to be further down the field where we're going to see the pit stops. I think, as I was going to say, Kyle is into the pit lane. I thought somewhere around this pack was going to be the first drivers to pit in. So Kyle's in, Charles is in, Borhauer is in as well. And my prediction was probably getting around the halfway stage. It's close enough, really, to the halfway stage. Kyle, however, into the pit lane. We'll see what size he's going to go on. Obviously, going to go onto a set of hards, and I think everyone that's came into the pit lane transitions onto that set of hards as well. So Kyle there in 11, Charles in 12, Borhauer in 13. Marcus Stoll is now through as I mental Loco is into the pit lane, so Marcus is going to gain a good, handy, maybe not even a position coming out the pit lane, as that is Borhauer coming out in front, so Marcus is not going to get any positions at all as a result. Mollon, however, has, and so is LRB. Bunty and Mika, by the way, struggling right down the back of the field, and Bunty is into the pit lane right at the back.
Yeah, and there's another thing that we haven't spoken about yet. Obviously, with everyone in their team cars, don't necessarily share the same pit box. So, obviously, these guys in the top 3, they could be sharing the same pit box and could get held up if they pit at the same time. That's another thing to keep in the back of your minds.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously with the multiplayer cars, you do get assigned different pit stops. It's pretty similar, to be honest, to F2, I think, back in the day, where you could get assigned different pit boxes if you were running. And certainly, I know in the classic cars, back when they had classic cars in this game, obviously that was a situation where the pit boxes as well were totally messed up. You could have ended up with a Ferrari and a McLaren in one, and then a Brawn and a Red Bull in the other. It's just one of those things. But Montreal leading the way, Ron in second, Hadler in third. In terms of a penalties update as well, there are the penalties currently. Janiak has got 6, Fimave has got 6, Nosko's got 3, Borha's got 3, Marcus Stoll's got 11 seconds now. Mika and I Mental Loco have got 3 and 6 respectively. And speaking of I Mental Loco, I think he's just spun coming through turn number 12, and he's lost time to Bunty.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Yayam to Loco. Yeah, these names are going to be the end of me, but I'm not going to lie. But I'm on board with Kyle, who, see on that undercut, is now right on the back of Nuska. And we've got Charles in directly behind as well, so we could have a tasty three-way scrap going right here for P9.
Yeah, I'm on board with Kyle actually. P9 currently looking like the battle to go on board with. Charles is not too far off this either. And Charles will be hoping to try and get CGT maybe in the points. Belandi, his teammate as well. On that side of hard Commentators, these are the guys we're going to be watching out for. The undercut is quite potent around here at Spain. Not more potent at other tracks than here, but Spain is one of those tracks where the undercut is quite potent. Overcut as well is quite similar to an undercut. If you go a couple of laps and you've got the pace, you can try and close in, as No Scar's got no DRS at the minute, but Kyle made a complete and utter mistake, and Charles is going to go through and down in towards turn 1. Charles just slightly moves across the CGT man on Kyle, but it is an easy disposal, and Charles is now through, and he's into P10, as I meant, that was Huayamave that has spun.
It's heartbreaking for the FMSL lads. Both drivers really struggling here, and his back end's absolutely everywhere.
He is. I think he's been out on the sand, possibly as well, through the gravel at turn 3. Nearly similar to Hamilton, I think, coming through in 2007, I'm down to say, 2008, one of the early years of Hamilton's reign as an F1 driver. There was another spinner coming through the middle sector. I think that's Bunty possibly getting out of the way, as Ron has reacted. So Ron is into the pit lane from second position. The FRL man has decided to come in on a slightly fresher set of hard compound tyres. No Scar for reference is just coming through turn 10. I think Ron is going to be well ahead of No Scar.
Yeah, I don't think No Scar was much of a threat to Ron Mostrel Hadler, but for Trinity and Silu, they could be under pressure.
They could be well under pressure. Ron was, I think, 3 seconds, I dare to say, behind Mostrel before he came into the pit lane, around that sort of area. So I think, honestly, from Ron's perspective, as we see Marcus Thor getting through on Borja, and they're actually running side by side down the straight, and Borja is back through. So Borja right on the outside line. Marcus dives it down the inside line. There's a bit of contact, but obviously Borja, the fresher tyres, is going to get the run. But Marcus on that set of mediums is not going to give up without a fight. He runs wide, coming through turn 3, and that's the end of that one. Borja is through, he's into 12th.
Yeah, for Marcus, see on those mediums after the lap 1 pit stop, he's not got the grip to really compete with these guys now, and he is absolutely praying for a safety car right now.
Ooh. Mostrel, I think, nearly cut across the red and white lines coming into the pit lane. That might get looked at. We'll see if pit entries are getting looked at, as Borja has spun coming through 7 and 8 as well. So quite a few spins happening out on track. Mostrel, though, into the pit lane, 68% on that front left tyre, and now he's into the pit lane. Where is Ron? Ron is coming through the final corner now. I think Mostrel is well ahead, and he's actually performed a little bit of an overcut compared to an undercut.
Yeah, see what the gap is.
Easy.
We believe it was about 3 seconds, and
it's more.
About 4.
It's more. It's about 4 seconds. 4 seconds is the gap, I think, coming through turn 1 and 2. As Ron is 3.8 seconds is the gap. So Ron has lost time on a set of hards compared to Mostrel, who was on obviously a fresh, a lap older, I should say, set of mediums compared to where Ron was last lap around. So Mostrel has managed to perform an absolute dream overcut. Ron could have easily wiped away that 3 seconds within that lap if he had the pace, but Ron now down in 5th position. Mostrel is in 4th. Currently, they're going to be in the net lead of the race because Hadler, Trinity, and Yavier still yet to come in. But where is Hadler and Trinity going to feature in? One of these guys has got to blink before the other, or they could double stack and hopefully try and get towards the end. I think Hadler's staying out. Does this mean that Trinity is coming in to respond? No, they both stay out.
Well, this is a very interesting strategy from the TTG lads. Do you think they're trying medium soft?
They've got to be. They've got to be. I think, honestly, set a soft compound tyre, if I remember rightly, the set of softs only last maybe 5 laps, 6 laps at a real push before they really begin to go off the cliff. So, in terms of tyre, we're going to be looking at Hadler and Trinity in that regard. Going to be, maybe, I would say, 5 laps time, they're going to be pitting in for a set of softs.
Very interesting. Obviously, a safety car or a VSC would really help them out with this particular strategy. But speaking of that, we've got yellow flag in sector 2.
Yellow flag in sector 2 is,
I believe it's LRB.
Yeah, LRB, I think, has lost a little bit of time in P15.
No, sorry, it's local, and he's just gone straight into the wall.
Yeah, 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits, and hopefully he is going to keep it out of trouble. Hopefully he's going to pit in as well, because every single point counts. That's what I don't think they realise. Every single point absolutely counts out on track,
no.
regardless of your points away. Zarmenta Loco has crashed out on track, coming through 13. Is that going to be a deployment of a safety car, possibly? No, it's a VSC, but it could be deployed up to a safety car. Did he do what I think he did?
Well, I was on board with him for the entire time, so it's going to be tough for him to fight this one, but it looked intentional.
And that, of course, is against the rules here in EML. No matter if you're a new team or if you've been around the block a few times. Javier, however, has came in from third position on Crusader Soft compounded tyre, and he has actually timed this to perfection because he's out ahead of Noscar by an absolute country mile. He's 3 seconds off the back of Silo and Janiek, who are going to be struggling with their tyres maybe toward the end. Javier has gone bold, he's gone home early, but Javier, is he within a chance now of picking up a podium, obviously with Hadler and Trinity still at the pit?
Yes and no. Of course, he will have the pace to catch up to Silo and Yannick, who has a penalty, so Yannick's going to be struggling to keep any chance of a podium with those penalties to his name. But he's going to rapidly close in on these guys ahead of him, but as we know, the soft tyres, they do not last particularly long. He's got to take another 12 laps after this lap is concluded.
Yeah, there's a possibility. I mean, Hadler and Trinity are still staying out, so I'm imagining now they're going to go on to a set of soft compounded tyres. But Trinity has reached that range where tyres are going to begin to puncture out on track. He's at the 70% range. I've seen it a little bit less than this in Spain before, around 60-odd%, and the tyres puncture. He's got front left wear on that tyre, pretty much a blister, in fact, going through the tyre on the front left if he's right on board with them. But he's now got to make a decision. Does he? I think, honestly, if I was in Trinity's position, I'd be coming into the pit lane. I think I'd be ahead of Janiek and go on to set us off compounded tyres and then pull away, because I think that's what's probably going to happen as Kyle and Giles are battling out, and Kyle is through and he's into P9.
If Trinity was to pit now, I think it'd be very close between Trinity and Javier on the source.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, to be honest, it's about, what, 20 seconds as a pit stop. So Trinity, just looking down, yeah, so you're actually right. I think Javier is probably going to be the man he's going to be trying to come out ahead of, but you never know. Silo is catching Janiek as well, so that could drag them down a little bit and allow Javier to catch back up. However, Javier has not really found a lot of pace currently. It's 2.7 seconds. Trinity, however, still stays out under the lap. However, Hadler is in, so Hadler gets first choice. He's into the pit lane, and he is probably going to be the man that's coming out around Janiek and Silo.
We'll have to see now. I think he's going to come out in 6th place as Janiek and Silo now coming through the final chicane and the final corner. Hadler still in the pit lane, yellow flag in sector.
Mika.
Yep, and he's going to drop in behind.
Oh, it's going to be side by side. I tell you what, I think it's going to be side by side actually. Hadler, Silo, nearly 3-1 towards turn 1. Oh, and Hadler gets a little bit rubbing with Silo. Silo was ahead though. I think with the overspeed it was inevitable that Silo was going to be ahead. But Hadler's just in behind. He nearly came out side by side with Silo. In the end, Janiek's 4th, Silo in 5th, Hadler in 6th. And now this surely puts Hadler possibly now on the podium because Janiek has got a penalty and Silo is on a set of hards.
Yeah, absolutely. The issue for Hadler right now is he needs to get past these guys ASAP because, as we know, Javier in behind, also with a penalty on soft tyres, throws him in.
Oh, I thought I saw a slow puncture possibly for Trinity. He's coming through turn 13 now. He's pretty much at the pit lane. Well, that tyre is gone. That front left tyre is absolutely gone, and Trinity now is into the pit lane. Javier has caught up in the meantime to the back of Hadler. 2.1 seconds, obviously, is still a bit of a gap, but he's now on that set of soft compounded tyres. Where is Trinity going to come out? If it's 20 seconds, he's going to come out right in the thick of the action here.
I think he's going to come out behind Javier.
Remains to be seen. His pit box is actually a little bit further down compared to where Hadler's was. So that might serve him a bit of an advantage. But yeah, I think he's going to be behind Javier. He's just coming into camera shot now. He's on the exit of the pit lane. And yeah, Trinity is going to be behind as Janiek gets overtaken by Silo. Silo down the inside line. Opportunistic, but a brilliant move and they make contact. And Hadler's now through and he's into P3. Janiek has made contact with Silo. And that, to be honest, was just not needed. Silo looked like he had the move done. And Janiek, I think, just went maybe in a little bit too deep, maybe with a little bit more speed than intended. And Yannick has sent Sealy around and Sealy down in P7, but you've got to make the question, would he have lost those positions anyways with him being on a set of hards?
I don't know. I mean, Vasilu, I think he was in a good spot. If he could get ahead of Yannick and kind of tow Yannick along, keep Hadler behind, he was looking pretty decent to try and get a podium, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he was looking really decent if he kept up, of course, with them. And now brings the question, no scoring card. Obviously, with penalties, Charles is probably the one that he's got to watch out for down in 10th position. They're going to be fighting themselves in a bit of a battle. Hadler's beginning to pull away from Janiek, as Why Marve has retired out on track. I don't get why he's done that. 15th position now down to 16th. His AI is going to retire off the track. And he leaves the session. I honestly, I will say this now, no matter, as I said earlier on, no matter if you're new team or not, you should read the rules before you actually join.
Yeah,
Simple.
so...
Borja and Belandi are side by side, however, running down and towards turn 1, and Borja is going to be through as Kyle is through as well on Charles, and they're fighting actually coming through the exit of turn 3, and Kyle is through on Charles, and he's back through and he's into P9, and Borja obviously through on Belandia, and he's now through and he's into P12 as well, so 2 positions made.
Yeah, and now we got Yannick. He's got his teammate in behind him, and Trinity behind Javier, and this is going to be very intriguing to see what they do with team strategies, because clearly they have to swap Yannick and Javier. But how is Trinity going to play into this? Is he going to be able to follow Javier through without any issues, or is it going to be very tasty?
Turn 1. Trinity's going to get Javier down towards turn 1. I can just tell in terms of the pace, Trinity's got a more straight line speed set up on compared to the car on Javier. It's not going to be this lap around, I don't think, that the move's going to be done, as Javier just begins to pull away as soon as I've said that. Trinity, though, in P6, and there's the move. So Javier's now through and he's into P4. Janiek moves out the way. I think that was intended, to be honest. Javier through and he's into P4. Makes sense, but Trinity is still within the DRS range of both of them. So, they've been successful in swapping each other around, but they haven't been successful in getting rid of Trinity.
Yeah, so this is going to be a key now for Javier, for him to really press on, because it's not out of the question with the remaining laps of Hadler, Javier, or even Trinity for that matter, to really kind of close up to the likes of Ron on those hard tyres versus the softs.
And this will be the move, because Yannick's just parked his car completely in front of Trinity, and Trinity's still going to try and send it around the outside line. I really do not get Yannick's defending whatsoever. He's defending Javier's position, yeah, for P4, but honestly, park your car in the middle of the circuit. Trinity didn't even attempt to move either left or right to try and counteract that. That was just an unintended incident, to be honest. Yannick picked up a 3-second time penalty, and Trinity's on a set of softs, and now he's going to try and get him down and towards turn 1. So let's see what happens here, as Yannick is now under attack from Trinity. Trinity, I don't think is going to be close enough down and towards turn 1. Or is he? Or is he going to go late like Daniel Ricciardo? No. Yannick stays in P5. Yannick is holding up. It's all about a team's game, don't get me wrong. But when you defend like that, it comes into question your driving abilities. Now Trinity is going to send this. Trinity's just going to send this down into the inside, now through turn 4. And to be fair, Janiek has now decided to, well, get out of the way, because Trinity's through and he's into P5. Simple, when you put your mind to it. Absolutely simple.
Yeah, but now Trinity can try to get onto the back of Javier. And the good news is that he didn't lose DRS to Javier, because I would have been told that the train goes back in, but now this will make things a lot easier for him to close onto the back of the SXT lab.
Yeah, and of course as well, remember Hadler is 3 seconds up the road as well, so easily a decision could be made for Hadler just to drop off the pace, even though it'll look very, very weird on the stream. He could drop off the pace, bring Javier back into Trinity, and Trinity then gets ahead of them both, and he's on fresher tyres for P3.
No, I think for Hadler, it's more beneficial for TTG right now for Hadler to go chasing after Ron. The gap is 2 seconds. Trinity, we think, is going to be able to get past Javier, and there's that red light blinking saying that he's out of ERS. So Trinity is only a matter of time before he gets through. Question is, can he pull away? And for Hadler, he's closing in on second place, but Mochel doing absolutely fantastic at Moonster.
Charles and Kyle going side by side as well, down and towards someone, just catching the end of that, and Charles is through and he's into P9. These two have really fought very nicely in the second half of this race. Been flicking on and off between their battles, and honestly, Charles and Kyle, probably two of the cleanest drivers on the grid. They've performed brilliantly. They're going to be P9 and 10 currently out on track, albeit with the penalties maybe changing things. But Charles and Kyle, honestly, have driven an absolute solid race for both their teams. Both their teams, if you're watching, should be absolutely proud of the way they've performed and of the racecraft, because they've been absolutely solid.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm wondering, is Javier trying to back Trinity into Yannick right now?
Definitely. Look at this, he's losing time to Hadler. It's now 3.7 seconds. Hadler obviously is catching on Ron, probably could get him next lap around, but Trinity now is going to be on the back of Javier. So all of that backing up, I think, is just going to come to no avail, because Trinity, now running down the straight, pulls the outside line, Javier just lets him go, and Trinity is through and he's into P4. So that tactic for SXT, whether or not it was backing up or anything else, it's just failed. Trinity through and he's into P4.
Yeah, and now we got the battle for second beginning to shape up. Hadler 1.3 seconds off the back of FRL Ron, but look at the ERS difference. Hadler has absolutely drained his entire ERS usage.
Yeah, plenty of support coming in, by the way, for Hadler and Trinity. TTG boys are really getting on the brink, maybe, of seeing a third and fourth position, maybe even the second and fourth position out on track as Hadler closes in on Ron, as you mentioned. We've got 5 laps to go after this, well, 4 laps to go, in fact, after this one. Moldstraw leads the way. He is absolutely shot out the boat, quite literally. 8.5 seconds, nobody is catching him, unless either he picks up a puncture or there's an act of God, quite literally out on track. But Moldstraw has driven an absolute solid race. This is why he's in the PSGL event on a Friday night, and this is why you should listen to me in terms of his pace, because Moldstraw's absolutely dominated so far. Ron in second, Hadler in third. There's the penalties, by the way. Janiek on 12 seconds, No Score on 6, Kyle and Marlon on 3 seconds, Borja is on 6, Marcus Thor on 9, Mika on 6, and Bunty down on 3 points. And actually, Bunty, I think, has been lapped, if I'm not mistaken, by the front runners as well. So Moldstraw leading the way, Ron in second, Hadler in third. And actually, something that we haven't ridden on board with the entire this race is position gains. Most positions gained is Borja from 18th on the grid up to 12th, so a gain of 6 positions. Javier, to his respect as well, has gained 5 positions from 10th, so not so bad looking. However, if you look at the top 4, it's a bit boring because they've just remained in the same positions.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, once again, my predictions for top 3, close, but no cigar. From the looks of it.
Mine were well off. I mean, I predicted Tom Rubble for third, and then look what happened to him. Didn't even make it through the first lap for the first 2 laps. Mostrel leads the way, Ron in second, Hadler in third. This is why Mystic James never words, and I may as well go into my alter ego for commentaries moving forward in EML Premier. But there is a yellow flag in sector 3. I got excited there because I thought it was a spinner. It is not. It's Bunty letting everyone through as Hadler is on the back of Ron, fighting down in towards turn 1. We've got 3 laps to go. Moultrie leads the way. Ron in second, Hadler in third. And probably at this point, no safety car, no VSC. It is pretty much now to the finish for everyone.
Yeah, I think VSCs is still possible, but yeah, no safety car now. Question is now, in the next 3 laps, can Hadler saving that VRS to get this move done on Ron?
Javier as well, to be honest. Trinity looks like he's under pressure. He's wearing out his tyres again as Trinity, and Javier is right on the back of him, and Janiek's not too far off this either. Honestly, the XXT boys have got another look in here on Trinity, so I don't think this is going to be too easy for Trinity over the final couple of laps. Hadler, in the meantime, it does look easy, but he's drained away so much of that battery, he's drained away his tyres as well. Hadler on that set of soft compounder tyres right on the back of Ron in towards turn number 10. Doesn't get the move done at the minute. In terms of the tyre wear, Hadler is on 47%. 48% now in terms of his tyres. And Trinity is slightly less, 46%. Ron, 30% on a set of hards. Hadler's wearing his tyres more than Ron is on that sort of hardcore panel tyres, but it looks like it could be game on because Hadler, with 2 laps to go, is right on the back of the Estonian, and the Estonian now is under pressure from the German, good old neighbours of course in real life, but Hadler now going to put the hammer down, looks to the outside line, Ron cuts the inside line, could try and send this around the outside, he does, Hadler's through and he's into P2, what a waltzing move that is, round the outside he goes, Hadler's through and he's into P2, and it comes to show that don't trust the TAS system, don't trust the tyre wear, Hadler through, absolutely brilliant move, and he's through and he's into second.
Yeah, for the issue for Hadler though, was this 1 lap too early to go for it?
Maybe, but I think Ron is honestly dropping off in terms of performance rather than his pace. Janiak is now through and he's into P5 and he's actually gone very, very deep. So I think the SXT boys are now beginning to look like a battle between themselves as Trinity has now begun to pull away as a result. I think Janiak might have been let through there by Javier in terms of the tyre life, but Modestroll leads the way. Hadler in second, Ron now in third. If Ron can keep within a second coming through the final sector, it could be quite interesting. Can Ron fight back at Hadler on this final lap of the race? Looking at Hadler's pace, I don't think so.
Looking at the ERS, if he can stay within DRS range, he's got a very good chance of getting through. Let's see if he is going to be close enough, and he's going to be using absolutely everything on this straight. I don't think he's going to be close enough.
This is looking close. I tell you what, he could. I was thinking he could lunge it from there down towards turn 1, but then again, that would be absolutely silly. Ron on the back of Hadler, but this has got him now into a position where he can now try and fight. Won the final lap, by the way. Modestroll has pretty much won this, unless he punctures, unless he spins out on track. Modestroll has probably won this. It's now the battle for second that we're focusing on. Hadler in second, Ron in third. They've pretty much got 3/4 of the lap, around 4 kilometres from this point to go. And Hadler in second position. Ron is actually fighting back. It looks as if suddenly Ron's tyres have suddenly came alive. Ron has now got into that mindset to try and get Hadler. Hadler, I think, has just done enough possibly. That red light is flashing, and now Ron has got one more chance possibly. Down and towards turn 10. Is he going to send a let? It's a no time to die sort of move. James Bond reference. Ron now down in P3, Hadler in P2, there's a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2, I think it's just getting Bunty, maybe letting everyone through, or Kyle just dropping off slightly, I think it was Bunty. But Modestroll, round the final corner, comes across the line, FBR take the win in Premier as Hadler is still being pressurised by Ron. I think Hadler's done enough, he comes around the final corner, Hadler coming out the final corner, Ron got caught in the grass slightly there as well, Hadler across the line to finish in second, Hadler weather the storm in the final lap of the race, Ron there in third, I think that was 4/10 of a second rather than 3/10 of a second as it shows on your screen. Trinity there in fourth with Javier in fifth, Janiak in sixth, Silu in seventh, now goes up to sixth. No Scar is going to come across the line to finish in eighth, but obviously he's going to drop down as a result of penalties, and he comes across the line to finish in eighth.
I just want to point this out. Marcus 4, 91% on his front left.
On his front left, and he's still going, he's in 13th. Obviously, he's going to lose the time, but Marcus has got to the end on those tyres, and has finished 14th as a result. But yeah, he did fantastically well to get to the end. 92% worn tyres at the end. Absolutely remarkable result from Marcus to get those to the end. Bunty, by the way, across the line in 17th as well. It's running down as well. Kyle, Marlon, Borja, Balandia, LRB, Marcus. Mika is the final man we're waiting on. He's coming around the final corner. VER very disappointing at the pass, really. Marlon finishing across the line. And it doesn't even cross the line, really. He crosses the grass to come across the line. But he still finishes down there in P16. Does Mika. Driver of the day is awarded by the in-game fans is Borja for FFC. As we will have a look at the podium celebrations, and a fantastic result, of course, from the man, the Flying Spaniard, of course, out on top. Modestroll takes the win. FER now put the battle to TTG, and again, it is very good to see one Gary Donegan at the top of the standings, but Modestroll leading the race, led pretty much right to the flag. He actually got overtaken. Remember, he was in fourth at the end of lap 1, finished, in the end, P1, where it matters.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic race pace from Modestroll to get himself back up into first after a very tricky start, and then to pull that gap as well. 11.4 seconds between him and Ron in the end.
And he's done the Grand Slam as well. Pole position, fastest lap, and P1 out on track. So Modestroll has taken the win for FVR. Hadler there in second. Ron in third, Trinity in fourth, Javier the Italian in fifth, with Silu in sixth. Janiek the Dutchman has came into the Discord and said he had floor damage. So Janiek's obviously picked up floor damage over the curbs. He finished in seventh, did a remarkable job to finish seventh regardless. Charles there in eighth with No Scott in ninth, the two Spaniards, and Kyle picking up a top 10 finish for TRT. They've become very strongly, I think. Bunty obviously letting them down slightly with his performance, but more on there in 11th. Borja in 12th, Belandia in 13th, LRB in 14th, Marcus Thull in 15th, Mika 16th, Bunty in 17th. Those are the finishes. Bunty did get classified under his own accord. He was a lap down. Hoya Marve, Iamenta Loco, MFSL. Whether we see them again remains to be seen. And Tom Robbo, very unlucky obviously with that spin. He was my P3 prediction, obviously ended up out of the field through lap 2. So that's the end of EML Premier. And Mike, I will come across to you. Who was your driver of the day?
It's difficult to not say Moldstrel. Absolutely fantastic race from the FVR lad. And in my opinion, absolutely flawless from him.
Yeah, Moldstrel, I think I agree as well. Moldstrel, solid race, solid drive, absolutely brilliant from his perspective. He gets my driver of the day vote as well, and gets both of our driver of the day votes, in fact, as well. But of course, thank you so much for tuning in to EML Premier. Sorry about the first qualifying session. That might have been my fault, because I normally take spectate mode first before I do anything else. It's just one of those things.
I mean, it happens from time to time.
It happens from time to time. Honestly, I need to test my brain out, I think, a little bit more. But, of course, more action to come on League Racing TV this week. TTML F1, F2 and F3 are going to be live for you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. UK time. You've got a choice of 3 streams for that. Myself and Paco Suarez taking you through F1. F2 is Luke Etheridge and Pepsi Freak. And then F3 is yourself and Storm, Mike. And obviously that is a fantastic partnership. Storm obviously coming into F3 once again this week. And then F4, it is going to be Storm and Conti going to be taking you through the action for F4, and then Pariah and Buck taking you through the action for F5 as well. 8 p.m. UK time, of course, F4 and F5 on Friday evening. And, well, I'll throw it out there. Myself and Tom are doing the PSGL and VRT Esports Cup event. If you do want to tune in for that, it is also at 8 p.m. UK time on Friday. Really hope you're going to tune in for that, because why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Bit of self-promotion to end the stream off. But there we are. It is done for EML Premier. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for weathering through the technical difficulties as well. Thank you, of course, to Mike, who joined me in the contracts, and to our magnificent graphics man, Tom Zaggers, there in the background doing all the graphics and doing the replay cams as well, which I'm sure you saw over the course of tonight. But that is it from us. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're new. We'll see you next month, of course, for round 3 of the championship on the 27th of October 2021 for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku. But for myself and Mike, please take care of yourselves, and we will see you next month for EML Premier. Goodbye.